Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying with Jim Misiura. Today I'm going to tie a fly that I designed myself, and I came up with this by observing the water in the summertime. And this is a damsel fly. I was seeing a lot of damsel flies coming off the water. I was in fast water, but there was also some big rocks sticking out. And I actually witnessed the damsel fly. They crawl out of the water onto the rock and then come out. So I had a pretty good example of what I wanted to imitate. But on this, we're going to also incorporate some LivelyLegz materials. So this is my damsel fly imitation. The hook that I have in the vise is LivelyLegz Lip Splitters, and this is the 710. This is a size 10. It's a barbless hook. It is 1 extra strong and 3 extra long. The thread I'm going to use is a Vivis, a dark olive. But first we're going to start out by putting some lead wire on there. You could use a bead on there. I would suggest an olive bead if you're going to make olive ones. I'm going to use some lead-free wire, and this is 30 thousandths. I'm going to put about 8 wraps on there, and I want that on the thorax area only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, maybe 10, 9, 10, 8, 10, depending. But you definitely want at least a 3 extra long hook when you're tying this. Go ahead and remove that off the back. Just helicopter that off and kind of stretch it as you're going, and you'll get a pretty good, got a little bit of a step there, but not bad. You got to remember this is also 30 thousandths wire. So we're going to start our thread in front of the lead wraps, and you want to get those lead wraps to about 1 eye length from the eye of the hook. Put down a little base and make sure you hold it in place, because especially with this bigger thread you can easily push those lead wraps back. Then when we get to the back, we're going to put several wraps right in the back of it to get that to hold into place. I'm going to go over it a couple times. And we're going to bring that to the rear. Just start to where it starts to drop around. Now for the tail, the damsel fly has a squared off tail, and it's also a fluffy one. It's like gills on it. And what you want to use is a Marabou type feather. Now I'm going to use, this is actually partridge feathers, dyed olive, but I'm going to use that after shaft feather. You got your feather, and then you got a little one on the that's stuck to the bottom there. I'm going to take a couple of these from a couple different feathers. So I think I'm going to take 3 of them. So that I don't want it to look like a feather on the back. I want it to actually look like Marabou. And since these are real long there, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hold them, and I'm going to break them off and break those real long ones off. And that tail, you only want it to be 1/4 to 1/3 the length of the body. Go ahead and tie that in. Get that back on the top there. I'm going to go ahead and trim this off. Leave it a little long so that I can wrap it and I can kind of cover the gaps in the lead there a little bit. I could have cut it even longer so I could get the whole thing, but it doesn't get it all. We're going to bring our thread back to the tail once again. We have our little marabou tail there. Now for the rib, I'm going to use a black crystal flash. You could use a black wire or an olive wire. Just want a little bit of more flash there, a little bit extra attractant. I'm going to tie that right in there. Now for the shell back, I'm going to use an olive. This is a pheasant tail dyed olive. I'm going to take about 3/8 of an inch of the feather, get those tips lined up, and then hold them tight and pull them off where you can cut them off. I got the tips lined up. I'm going to go ahead and cut that stem butts away, and I'm also going to tie them in with the butt. You definitely want, for the shell back, you want stronger portions. So the stronger portion is obviously closer to the shaft. Bring our thread back. Now I'm going to put some dubbing on there, and I'm going to use my Antron blend dubbing again, my Antron dubbing, and I'm going to just use a plain olive, and this olive is, you know, it's not dark, it's kind of a little bit of a lighter olive, and we want that 2 different colors. You can tie these to match damselflies. There's so many different kinds of damselflies. You could match the color. You can tie light ones, you can tie real dark ones. Having a little trouble getting that out of the case there. And remember, as always, you can always add more. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this. And the big difference between olive, or between damselfly nymphs and dragonfly nymphs, the damselfly nymphs are long and relatively skinny, and the dragonfly nymphs are fat, short and fat. So I gotta get some more dubbing there. And the dragonfly nymphs also come out of the water and emerge out of their nymphal shuck on rocks. I'm going to bring that up. We're going to go about at least half. Get about half the distance, you're okay. You want half to 2/3 the distance of the hook shank for the abdomen. That looks pretty good there. Now I'm going to take my pheasant tail and I'm going to fold that over. Hold that on top, and you want to get it flat. Get it pretty much flat. So I'll put my finger on top of it. Now we're going to take our rib, we're going to go ahead and wind that. I'm going to go under the tail first once because it wants to slide off the back. And then we're going to ride that up there. Palmer that up, meaning open spaces like a barber pole. Give that a few wraps. You can fold it back and put a couple of wraps on top. Go ahead and trim that off. Now you can take this and just fold that back. Now for the wing case, I need more than just that, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take some more of the pheasant tail center. And this is a very new one. You can see here, one of the things with pheasant tails, you get short ones on the bottom, and then when you get towards the middle, then they get really long. So I'm going to just deal with these short ones. It's a lot easier when you have the long ones. Go ahead and tie these in. That wing case is pretty skinny also on the Damsel fly, so you don't need to put one on each side like we did with the previous fly. I tied the improved generic. Now we're going to put the legs on, bring that thread up to the front. And here I have LivelyLegz, and these are the LivelyLegz size medium 10, 8, and these are brown legs. The olive legs were just a little bit too light for my liking. We're going to put all three on there. So what I did was I cut the tabs off the front and the back before, and just leaving that little piece there just to catch and lock in that front legs. And I'm going to move to the back leg. And we already have that tab cut off. Now I'm going to take my dubbing once again, and I'm going to make this noodle a little thicker, keeping in mind that we can always add more, but I'm going to start out with it a little thicker so we can get that little fatter thorax. And with the Antron dubbing, you usually have to get your fingers moist. Give them a quick licking. And as always, remember when you're dubbing and it's going to go have a wing case going over it, you want to concentrate on the bottom and keeping that bottom covered well. And I need just a little bit more. Get that bottom covered nice. Top not so much. You don't have to worry about the top because that wing case is going to come over it. Your noodle on the end should be relatively skinny because you're getting to the head area. Make sure we got that good. I actually have a little bit too much, so I'll do a little bit of a figure eight there. There we go. Gonna fold those legs back out of the way there a little bit and kind of start building the head there. Now we're going to take our wing case and we're going to fold that over. And we're going to hold that flat on the top once again. That single wrap there to get them held into place. Going to fold them back and slowly work my way back on them. Those ones that are sticking to the front there, that's not a big deal. The lighter will take care of them. Go ahead and trim the excess. Got one that I missed coming out the back. And remember, be careful because you don't want to cut a leg off. Now I'm just going to wrap that head. And there's that stray one there. Hold everything with my fingers. Take my lighter, clear that out. Go ahead and make a nice head on there. Take our whip finish. Gonna put a little bit of head cement on there. You can see we got a nice wing case there, nice dual colors, very distinct legs. I always put some head cement right on the wing case itself, because that's pretty fine and that can get chewed up easily. And here we have my damselfly nymph imitation. Call this Jim's Damsel. And I hope that you learned something from this video. I hope that you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Please visit my sponsors. If you'd like to buy any of the flies that I make, you can go to my Etsy page at etsy.com/shop/theflymanjim. Please leave comments, questions, suggestions, and most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.